All right. So we are live and happy Friday to everyone. I'm Avro.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, I'm Avro. I'm from Oslo right now, and we have none other than Dominic with us. I'm pretty sure people who are following our previous live streams, our launch day live stream, they're already already have met with Dominic. So it's great. It's great to have you, Dominic, again and again and again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored, always honored to join y'all. Such a cool product.
Thanks, Dominic. Yeah. So, all right. So before we start with today's live stream and the building session, that's the most important part. A few quick housekeeping things which I think we should mention is Data Button 2.0 has launched 2 weeks back. Lot of influx of users. Amazing. It's really exciting to see so many people coming in. And yeah, our Discord is buzzing all over. I can see like people are commenting. Thanks to everyone. And yeah, and then we have a lot of new exciting features which is getting shipped every week. The team is really working hard on shipping features, the requests and the feedbacks which we are receiving now. It's fantastic. All right, so in this and from this live stream onwards, we are planning for a three session building. Let's say an entire full stack app where we build everything from scratch to
Yep.
Stripe payment link, and then we deploy it everything from scratch. And I think that's something which would be really helpful for a lot of data button users.
hmm
And actually, this idea came when I was discussing with Dominic, and he was like, I want to build my next app in data button which will be for my personal use. We will hear about that, the entire thing. But it came where he wanted to build everything from scratch, from the MVP, the landing page, the authentication, the storage, from scratch to the Stripe payment. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. Why not? And then we decided that we will do it live, which is not an easy task, by the way. Like every time I do it, I'm like, okay, what would be the prompt? The prompt when I do myself when I'm alone, or when I do live is very different. So like, let's do it. Let's do it live while
Yep.
we are building it, and we share with everyone. And let's take this bed where we face these common hurdles together. Okay, I'm pretty sure like
Yeah.
setting up storage authentication is not so easy. So let's do it live, and then as much as we can cover. We're expecting it will take 3 sessions. Hopefully we'll cover each of them, and we'll
Yep.
have a full stack app live. So without any further delay, I'll just give hand over the entire stage to Dominic. He will share his screen. He will say the exact motivation behind building this app. And yeah, and I'm happy that I could convince him to do it live, and it's a great opportunity
Yeah.
for everyone. So yeah, Dominic, what app are you gonna build today, and what's the motivation behind? Just give a quick intro to that, and then let's start the prompting session. Let's do that. All
Absolutely.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, again, thank you for having me. I'm excited and I'm definitely nervous because we're going to be utilizing Firebase, which I'm not particularly familiar with. I mean, I've used it a little bit, but I've been more Superbase. But
Uh-huh.
I've wanted to build a CRM in Firebase because I think the simplicity of the data of the schema would make it easier and more fun to work on and more fluid. But
Hmm.
my background is in the real estate business. So my business, we buy and sell and trade mortgage debt. It's a very niche industry, uh, especially here in Texas because we're on the border with Mexico. So we have a lot of really well qualified borrowers that can't go to a bank and get qualified.
Hmm.
So the buying and selling of those mortgage notes is a huge industry down here, but it's a niche business and it's very much a paper business. So there's not a whole lot of automation behind it. You are literally trading a physical piece of paper for money. It's a very unique
Hmm.
business model, but there's not really any tools out there. So when I started, I was a late adopter to a CRM. I didn't even know what a CRM was. I didn't know what the benefit of a CRM was. So I was a big Excel guy, and I would just use Excel, and I would have a pipeline in Excel, and
Uh-huh.
I would just roll with it. There was no automations. It was just quick and dirty,
Cool.
and
Yeah.
did what I needed to do. But as my business started growing, I really saw a need. In order to compete with other people, I needed to be able to streamline and automate my processes and keep track of customers. So I started looking at CRMs a few years ago, and this was right when I guess Airtable was starting to get more popular, and Smart Suite and some other things like that. So I started down that road, just a fancier version of Excel. And as I wanted to start adding more and more, automations, I started looking into other integrations. But again, looking at like the pre-built tools that are out there, it seemed to me, just looking, I did so many demos. I talked to so many different companies, and the software is expensive. It can be very hard to use, but most importantly, it almost seems like it would take longer to build out their software to configure it the way you need it for your workflow than it would to just build it yourself.
Yep.
So when I started this,
sorry, just to quickly interrupt. When you say there are other tools, what other tools did you try before that? I mean, okay, all right. So I know we have discussed this part before in our previous live stream. So if you guys have not checked, you can check that. But I would love to just give a quick intro or a brief the other tools which you have tried, and yeah, please give us a bit brief on that, and then I'll just have the follow-up question to that.
Yeah. I mean, I tried all of the mainstream CRMs like HubSpot and all these different Microsoft Dynamics, a variety of different things, and it was, again, just too cookie cutter. It was too difficult. It wasn't malleable enough to build what I needed to build. So then I started with Smart Suite, and I used Airtable, and then I started integrating Make into both of those to give me some more custom automations and integrations. But even then, Make.com is Make and Zapier, whichever one you want to use. They're, those automations, they're very fragile. Things break, and the automations can actually be pretty complex, even though a lot of the stuff can be, you can click and drag. So when I was early on into it, I really didn't have the skill set to be able to build a lot of these automations myself. So I would farm out the automations and the more technical stuff to developers. And when things started breaking, I had to pay for the fix, whether it was my fault or not. And at $150 an hour, it gets really expensive. So I've tried so many different, I think before I found Data Button, I was probably spending like $600 or $700 a month just on subscriptions to run the CRM that I had built with on Airtable. And even then it was still limited. And so I found Data Button because I needed to build a calculator. I needed to move away from Google Sheets and build something that was more robust and integrated directly into my CRM, that I could interact with real time, that my customers could interact with, and that I wasn't blasting my code and my my record IDs and everything all over the place. So I stumbled across Data Button in June of last year on LinkedIn, and I started playing with it, and very quickly I had a proof of concept for the application, or for the calculator that I was building. And it fit perfectly in an iframe. It worked perfectly in an iframe. I could use URL parameters to make it work directly with Airtable with like virtually no automation. I didn't have to use Make at all to do anything. And what's funny about that, Abra, is out of all the automation, if I went back into my old CRM right now, I know this for a fact, all the Make automations, none of those work right now, even though they're still as I left them. But the Data Button calculator I built, the first one, V1, it still works. It still works.
No, like one thing which I feel personally, like Make or Zapier is very popular. I know a lot of people are using it. That's why also just a quick stuff that we will also have something integration, easier integration like that, hopefully in coming weeks or something, because it's very popular actually. But one thing, when you're using like actually a tool which has code in it, for example, in your case you have Python code to do this entire computation. By the way, when he says about for people who do not know about your app, so it's not like an easy calculator. It has Yeah, it is way more complex. So you really need to use Python or any other computational. Like
Yeah.
so, in data button we have Python as the backend, and you run those over NumPy or Pandas. Those are the very popular Python packages to work with. And then you do all this computation, which is bit exhaustive also, the computation exhaustive. And then you give this back to your, I think back to your, let's say the customers and for yourself also. Yeah, and there where it's Python, because then you have this tool there, the backend tool, which is working and which
Yeah.
stays forever as long as you maintain that package. I think that's what helped a lot. That's why you still can go on maintaining it as long as that
Mhm.
package is available. But I think we're using very popular packages, so it should be there for long. And yeah, and that's why I think that's the reason why it's still working
Yeah.
well, and you have everything intact. And yeah, but again, like I personally feel Make or Zapier, they makes our life way more easier with this kind of automation thing. And
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of users, I know like a lot of users in data, but they're using this kind of. Also, I
Mhm.
found one of the common use cases with N88. It's also again
Yeah.
automation tool. It's open source
Yeah.
automation tool. A lot of
I've
people
heard
are
of that.
using
I
it.
haven't used it.
Yeah, that's also something which people use a lot. And that's why I felt like when you mentioned to me in brief about this use case, like that's something which we should build something from scratch with you. But please go ahead. Please go ahead with how we're gonna build today this entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, um, with these CRMs, like it just everything is kind of cookie cutter. It's very hard to fit to your life. So, as I mentioned, I just started building my own thing, and once I once I realized the power of Data Button and that it's not just a cool app builder, it's
Mhm.
a full stack developer, right? That anybody can use. That you don't have to have the technical skill set to use. It just the light bulb went on for me, and it just is a game changer.
Yeah,
So I use it. I think I use Data Button every day because
we know
it's
that.
easy. Do you?
We know that because you posted over our Discord channel, and also like
Yeah,
people who are joining in or tuning in, please check our Discord channel. It's really a
yeah.
lot of people
Discord's
are
awesome.
posting there. I can all see right now as well. Yeah, that's great to have you guys there, and you can hear Dominic's experience every day out there because he has a lot of prompting hacks going on there, but there are a lot of new users out there. So if you have built
Yep.
something with Data Button, make sure to just go in there, share with our
Please share
channel.
it. Yeah, yeah.
It's
Sharing it
great.
is huge.
It's a great learning place, I would say personally.
Mm.
But again, coming back to your CRM. So
Yeah,
when you say you want to build something like that, what would be
yeah.
your typical approach? How do you start building that?
So everybody does it differently, but for me, I mean, I've started leaning on ChatGPT for a lot of planning, and
Fair
that's
enough.
kind of the
Yeah.
first thing that I do whenever I'm thinking about a new feature, a new application. Is I'm going to ChatGPT and having a conversation
Hmm.
because it's a pretty non-biased conversation, so it's going to tell you best practices, not best practices, good ideas, bad ideas. It's going to give you good feedback. So that's what I generally start with is ChatGPT,
Yeah.
and I just start with a basic prompt on what my ideas and kind of what I think I want the workflow to be. And a lot
Hmm.
of times I'll tell it, come up with your own ideas, give me your opinion, throw some different things in there so that because you just don't know what you don't know. And that goes back to just touching on Discord. When people post in the app showcase, it's
Hmm.
huge because people get to see things that they didn't think about, and I
Yeah,
think
that's
it
right.
really builds creativity and it allows other people to get motivated and say, "Wow, I can build that on Data Button." Yeah, you can
No,
build
you
anything
are
on Data Button.
you were really right. Like I think a few days back, I saw one of the user over Discord. I hope I remember his handle name. He let me just quickly call out his name. It's amazing the way he did that. If I could prompt tips over prompt tips, he also shared his I think over prompt tips channel. It's I think let me share. Can you share your screen, Dom, over the Discord group if you have it? That'll
Yes,
be
I do.
amazing. Yeah,
Right
but
here.
I'll
Yep.
just tell the backstory there. He shared something which was not working in data button, like the thread part was a bit buggy, uh,
Which
and
channel?
it's over Discord prompt tips channel. If that's something
Yep, I got it up right now.
perfect, so I'll just add it, but I don't think it's it here or I
Oh,
don't see.
I got it.
Yeah, he just put it
Apologize.
there,
There you go.
and here and there he yeah exactly there he the way he did that was very funny because he wanted to have more of a visualization perspective. Like, he want to see how the database is made, which will come today when Dom will build it. And he used Markdown format to literally get the visualization of how a Firebase data store would be. And that's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Like, he's just kind of hacking into that and just seeing how it would look like, and then giving it back to a data button, saying this how my database should look like.
Yep.
Typically, when I started with TL draw, and I
Yep.
just took a screenshot, put it back
Yep.
there, and that's how I did it. But I really like that you just go in there, ask it to give a markdown format, and put it back. That's fantastic, and I think that's why, like, when people share it, it's a lot to learn. And yeah, please, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and to that, I mean, this chat right here says it all. But one of the really unique things about Data Button that a lot of the other builders don't have is this is a two-way conversation, whereas a lot of the other builders are more of a one-way. You tell it what you want, and then it goes out and does it. But Data Button is actually having a two-way conversation with you. How do you want it done? What do you like? What do you not like? Oh, show me how this works. Oh, I'll teach you how this works. It's a
And
teacher in itself.
I will just add it here once. Sorry, I'll just interrupt here once. But I
Yeah.
think this is a very valuable point in a way. We learned this a lot from Data Button 1.0 to Data Button 2.0. And one of the things which stood out from the users, not from our perspective, but from the users, were how Data Button is a reasoning agent. And that's what was launched in Data Button 2.0. That the way Data Button think, if you see still, like when you will be working on, it will be great if you highlight that part, thoughts, which goes on under the hood.
Oh yeah.
And
I
people
love reading
love it.
those.
People love that part. And I think that's something which I also learned as a person, when how the LLM thinks. And
Yep.
that was one of it. And of course, the task part, which we added. So overall,
Yes.
this reasoning part, I think, which something which stood out a lot when working with any LLM, not only Data Button, but any LLM which could do that. And of course, LLM has this reasoning power, and that helps a lot
Right.
to see what's going under the hood there. All right.
Yeah.
I will then share your screen, Dom, if it's fine, and then
Yeah.
maybe we can just dive into the app. So we already have a brief that we're gonna build a CRM machine
Mm-hmm.
for Dom's personal use, and yeah, okay, perfect. It's simple lifestyle CRM requirements which Dom already
Mm-hmm.
have. So please go ahead, Dom.
Yeah. So if for those who don't know what a CRM, it stands for customer relationship management, but it can be used for anything. And with in your life, right, you've got calendars, you've got email, you have all these different things just in your personal life. Your personal life is almost like a business. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool to experiment with Firebase a little bit, learn Firebase better, and also build a personal lifestyle CRM. So now my to-do list and my calendar and my Gmail and everything can all be integrated in one place, and I can track all the things that I want to do, my goals, the duties I have, things I have to do with my kids, my wife, all those kinds of things, and just put it in a really beautiful, simple, easy to use CRM that takes a few clicks to use, and it's no bloat, just ready to go.
Mhm.
So this prompt right here, you'll notice Data Button 2.0, you've got this really robust,
Onboarding.
almost like, what's that?
Yeah, that's the onboarding part when you just come
Yeah,
and create a
yeah,
new. Perfect.
really robust onboarding workflow. And so one of the things it's going to ask for in this next page, it's going to ask for any type of
Specs or
like
requirements.
influences or specs or pictures or any kind of thing like that. So I mentioned that I like to start what I do with ChatGPT by having a conversation to kind of understand the overall mechanics and the workflow. And you don't even have to sign up for ChatGPT. You can do this for free on ChatGPT. But I went in and I just told it that I wanted a simple lifestyle CRM with a futuristic UI, and I'm going to use it to manage my personal life. And I might want to monetize it in the future. Might want to throw some different integrations in there, like Gmail, for example, and Firebase and all those kinds of things. So just gave me a really quick overview, and this is what it spit out. And it's, again, just super simple. It goes over contact management, lifestyle pipeline management, communication, the monetization concept, file management, the tech stack. We're obviously using Python as a backend with Data Button, and then we're using React as a front end. And then we can use any SDK out there,
Yeah.
custom
I think
packages.
Yeah,
pretty much
I think
anything.
like I'll just give a like for people who are joining in data button,
Yeah.
our stack is bit opinionated. So where we have React as the front end and Python as the back end. So I'll just answer one question as well if that came here. Does it have MERN support, already built API and needs front end integration? So let's say you already have an API which you have created. Of course, you can use it directly from the front end. You can just
Mhm.
do it, just throw data button, the details of it. You can actually integrate with the front end. So yeah, it's possible.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's a
so
good
that's
point.
something that's something which in data button we have this Python backend, which is very robust, and that's what I think Dom was mentioning before that he used, and I think we have seen the previous live stream. He has given a demo of it. He used Superbase to control the entire that time the very similar to the first app which you built, the
Yeah,
CRM, the table which he was controlling via the Superbase, and it was entirely via
the
backend,
agent. Yeah.
the agent,
Yep.
and it was like autopilot mode. The agent was controlling the Superbase table and
Hmm.
everything. And
Yep.
yeah, and but I think today you have added Firebase as your storage or the authentication part, right? In
Yep.
this,
Yeah, we're gonna do Firebase for storage and authentication. And again, I'm unfamiliar, so everybody's gonna learn along with me. But Aubrey's gonna help me. Aubrey's gonna help me through this.
definitely.
Um,
Let's see how the hurdles are. I think and trust me, I mean it's not easy. Like to build in a live prompting session. I know how it feels. I know my first live stream here showing off how to work with this. It's very different when you work alone and when you
yeah.
work in a live stream and you know people are watching it. Yeah, feel free to just
Perfect.
prompt it a
Yeah.
lifestyle.
So I would
Hmm.
just start with the basic what it is, a lifestyle CRM designed to manage my daily life activities,
Nice.
goals, um, calendar.
Meanwhile, when you
Uh,
prompt, I'll just answer a few
yeah,
questions as
yeah.
well. Okay.
Um,
Mm, whenever you guys have time to answer based on the plan limit. Yeah, and limit. I find myself running out of credit pretty when I read the documentation suggestion. Yeah, so I think one of the very good suggestion over documentation part is the prompting hacks which you have suggested. I think that helps a lot. So the way to minimize the credit is if you ask the agent to first reason through it. If you're going through any loop or where the agent is making some mistakes, ask the agent to go through it. So I call that part as priming the agent first, then ask the agent to plan through it, and then finally ask the agent to report you about that particular part which it's struggling with, and not to write any code. So you can just append that part, do not write any code, and that helps a lot to first prime, then have a understanding of what's happening, and then come up with a report what's not working, and that works a lot to minimize it. So, and one thing about credit is in data button we're trying a lot of other ways to minimize this credit loss, but you only lose a credit, or we are calling it as AI app edit or a credit, only when the agent writes a code. And it's very like dicey here. At times the agent writes 9 files at a time or 10 files at a time. At times it's for 1 file, so it's very hard to kind of in a way to have a better way of this entire credit system. But what we found is very useful is one whenever one credit equal to any change made by a particular agent at one point, so it's like a checkpoint. So that's how the credit is calculated, but not when there is no changes, there is no credit loss. So if you say do not
hmm.
write any code, there will be no charge for that credit. And Dom has hacked into that. Also, Ale or Mike has hacked it and posted all over our prompt tips channel. That if we add that part, it's much easier. All right, Dom, we have some initial prompt. I think this is
Yep.
good. Yo,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I think it works. So we're just gonna roll up all of our different services, our calendars, everything, and we're gonna build a really nice, cool tool that just helps us
Mhm.
keep our life organized. So move
Let's
on to
do
the
it.
next one, and this is
Mhm.
asking to upload what we created earlier, which is this simple CRM requirements. And again, this took one prompt in ChatGPT to create this, and I was done. It just gives a roadmap for the app. So we can go in here, Lifestyle CRM, and we've got our simple CRM requirements in PDF format.
Mm-hmm.
So upload that. And then, because I'm really big on UI, I love things to look really nice. They have to look really nice. I think the look is just as important as the function.
Mm-hmm.
I went online and I found, I looked at some different CRMs and I found this layout, this design with these colors and things. And I thought, this is a cool layout. It's smooth and round and futuristic. So this is going to be my inspiration for this deal.
Nice.
So we've uploaded that deal, and Data Button loves to know what your inspiration is. So go ahead and just upload that right in there. It's going to actually look at that image and determine the styling and the colors and
somewhere nearby to that styling of that particular.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's go for the next step, and then I have few questions to answer. But I think this part is very important. Let's highlight this part.
Yep. So we can choose Firebase or Supabase. In this case, we're going to use Firebase. And Abra, do we want to integrate Stripe right now, or do we want to leave that out?
I think let's put the Stripe here because it will be a session of building. So today, as far as we can go, and then the next building would be like, our aim will be to just have the Stripe as well.
Okay.
And we deploy the entire stuff. So let's put the Stripe there already. I think it's great.
Okay. And storage as well?
Yeah, let's put the storage. If we have some binary files or some images, why not storage?
Perfect.
So let's add everything there.
So we've got Auth, Firestore, Stripe, and Firebase storage.
Yeah.
All within one click.
And I was trying to name it like, from zero to hero, or like, from scratch to build or scratch to deployment. So it's like, it's kind of that, like where you have everything from scratch until the final part. Meanwhile, while Data Button just starts to, give a spin to the first UI, we have a lot of things. I think AI Amin says, please let him work. So I think he's saying that to let you work, or if I'm speaking much, so I should make you work. So thank you. Yeah. So Dom is now full at work alongside.
Oh no, we're good. We're having fun.
And then there is Ashish saying, where can we find the prompting strategies for Data Button? I saw this. That's why I highlighted this. So basically, you just need to go to Data Button Docs, and there you have prompting in Data Button. And I think this is we are trying to make it updated more, but this is a great place to learn how to prompt in Data Button. And it's very much kind of adapted in a way how you can write prompts in Data Button. So that would be great. Then
Really
Thak is amazing. He's all over the socials and he gives a lot of feedback. Planning. Be sure exactly what you need from Data Button before launching into project. It's not an alchemist. I think it's a great tip, and
it's true.
It's for any AI code gen tool or any AI tool. I think. Thank you so much. I mean, this is really important while working with any AI. Yeah, and then there is from video, and I think this is a good point actually. Why not make that default? I think he meant by the thinking part. Why not to make it default? Yes,
like the initial prompt, like the initial.
I think it's also about like why. That would be great to clarify. But to automate the complex requests, just to think through it, plan it. The one I think which I was mentioning, to prime the agent and all.
Sure.
So if I just answer it in a very short, like Data Button itself is a reasoning agent. We have tried every possible way to handle this. Data Button can, I think when Dom will start building, you will see how the reasoning steps are there happening underlying. And it's one of the differentiation of Data Button compared to any other AI code gen tool or even any other tool. Like you see in GPT-4o, there we see this thing, the reasoning part.
Yeah.
And we can do that. But under the hood, it might make it way more slower. I think Martin or Ovin from the team can answer it way better than me. But it is something, a lot of reflection going under the hood. We would love to make it, every time it will just prime itself and do it, but it will make it way more slower in a way. So there is somewhere a trade how we can do it. But right now, where we are, I think that's the best. Tomorrow, it might be way better. Yeah, Dom, please.
No, and I think another thing is, Data Button makes a very complex task. I mean, because what we're talking about, what we're building here is actually a very complex, robust application. This isn't just a basic, for fun app. I mean, we've got a full back end, a full front end. We have every tool, every resource that any coder in the world would have access to, we have access to without needing the knowledge on how to use it. We can actually talk plain English. So there's a lot of power in the back end here with Data Button, and I think we get spoiled, right? We don't necessarily realize like how much work it actually already is doing in the background, which is why I really like to come in with a prompt ready to go and have already kind of thought about, because the agent is actually creating its own plan, but it's creating its plan only based on the information that you give it. So its plan is only as good as the input that you're giving it. And if you can just take a few extra minutes before you decide to dive in and actually come up with a plan, like, hey, I like these features, I don't like these features, I need this, I don't need this, that will help how you build. I mean, that will help your application tremendously.
Dom, I just want to add this part, and I think it's a great point. Charles mentioned that you often mentioned that your product is intended for building MVPs. However, is it powerful enough to develop fully functional SaaS application? And I just want to say that if I have mentioned that, I am really sorry about it. We always feel Data Button is beyond MVP, and it's good that if I have mentioned that by mistake, someone has corrected me, and it's not by our teammates or someone. So thank you for mentioning that. Yes, Data Button is not only meant for building a simple MVP. It's not what I try to say that always. If I have said that, it's wrong. It's mainly meant for, and it's only this version of Data Button 2.0. But from the very first state, if you have played around 1 month back, we always had a robust Python backend. We had a backend. We had a robust front end. And as Dom will just go on build, I think Dom, you should keep on building it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because otherwise I think we'll just slow down the pace, and it'll be easier for also to note that we kind of break down the entire app into components and pages and utility files. Automatically, it's giving this vibe of where you are building a full functional SaaS application. And you are absolutely right about that. And on the top of that, we have added something very new, which has entirely changed the workflow, which Dom is doing right now, is adding task for the app. So it's like we have this app, we have this task feature, which Data Button automatically, like a dev which is sitting beside you, dividing the entire app into tasks. And and you can add comments, and which Dom just added.
Yep. So I'm telling it to just go do some more external research, because what I want it to build is something that's incredible. That landing page needs to be beautiful, and Data Button can do it with no issues.
Yeah, I think we'll also corrected this part as well. Yeah. So right now we are kind of building an MV, but we'll try to integrate everything from database to your Stripe integration. But yes, over a live stream we cannot build the entire app. That's why two things how we are trying to make it work is we are just dividing into sessions. So we'll try to build as much as possible and show as much, like from the first preview of the landing page to the Stripe and all this to do which we have out here. We'll try to build everything, and yes, that will just from the authentication to the Stripe integration to deployment, everything will cover.
Yep. And here's some observations on just what's going on in the back end, but it's already come up with a plan, and it's starting to install packages and write code. And let's see what we got as far as pages. So we look here, we got a little bit of code here.
I think it'll be great also if we see the plan part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And also over the chat. Yeah, exactly. So I think this is something which Data Button does two-way. It updates the plan every time. This entire task-based building. There's also like something where the hero section, the features and the benefits, and it gets kind of recorded entirely what you're building or updating to the agent.
Yeah, it does a really good job at remembering what it's done and what it's doing.
All right. Gotta put kids to bed. Keep killing it, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, also Viral, before leaving, Viral said, we will share more daily. Yeah, we have to do that. We will share more daily just to make sure that we give this message out and loud. Data Button is your dev sitting beside you. We are building each and every part together, and we are building full stack SaaS apps.
Yep. Yeah, and I did not mention it, but I met Abra when I was starting to build my CRM in Data Button, and I think I had a conversation with you. I had that exact question: was could I build this full application? And Abra was like, absolutely. And so I started looking into it, and I mean, what I have right now is pretty incredible already.
It would be awesome if one time you show us the entire app which is built.
I
It
will.
would be really good. By the way, I think we have the preview already, or
let's see. It's writing code. It's still working, so
yeah, with this
doing its
writing
thing.
code feature, let's see. This writing code.
So
I think
we've got 162 lines now, and it looks like we've got our call to action section, our benefit section.
Let's see the height code part. We have a lot of lines of code. Yep. Okay, all right. We have something out here, and everybody is still trying to update it.
Yep. And we got a little bit of an error.
Okay,
so this is a super cool tool down here. I don't if y'all have not looked
Yeah.
at this, but the data log down here is super valuable because it'll tell you line for line exactly what's happening in real time. Makes it so easy to solve problems.
Yeah, I think the console is something which is very underestimated, but it's super useful. Like, by the way, I think Charles, actually I asked the question because I've used your product several times, which I really like. But when the agent thinks, it often writes, "What is the best solution for an MVP?" Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Actually, that's a very good point. That we should actually more of change the messaging part there, not to give that vibe that we are building only an MVP, but we are building a full stack app. That's a very good point, Charles. I think it's something which we should consider it.
So it finished the page, but I think we need to give it a couple more prompts and have it actually go and do some research and come back with something really beautiful. What do you think?
Sorry, can you just? I'll just check in the comment section. We have a couple of more comments to go through, but please,
yeah, we're just gonna have it do some research and make this landing page a little bit more visually appealing.
Sure, we can do that for sure. Okay, so one thing is, can you explain what means one credit? How far I can come with one credit? I think that's a great question. In a way, it's a very difficult question to answer as well. So right now, if you see with one credit or with one credit, I think it would be great if you can see the credit change. But if you see the restore function where you see the checkpoint, so with one prompt, it actually created a number of changes all over, not only in the home page, but it also, if it creates utility files or any other change, it can make a lot of changes with one credit as well. So how far you can come? You can actually build a home page, let's say a UI component with one credit. That's one thing. But one credit typically in Data Button is a successful code generation by Data Button. That's how we define it. But it's a very vague term. We are trying to make it better. We are trying to make it in a way which is reasonable for the user as well. Right. All right. So I'll just come to, because there are a lot of questions coming in.
Oh, yeah.
With that, as we become more competent as builders, I think Data Button encourages us to be anti-lazy and pro-growth. We should start seeing patterns in libraries, frameworks, and the work best for us.
Yeah.
I like to see full stack app templates available in Data Button. That's a very good point. They will help reduce the number of creditors. I think that's a very good point. We have been discussing about it also. Like to be honest, we don't have a template, but something which you already have is, let's say you want to add a database to it. We have that add Firebase button out there, which already, you'll see how Dom builds it. It's already one step there. You are going to build something from that Firebase, copy and paste. Everything under the hood happens. So it's very much close there, but it's not a template, but it's something, an automation, native integration, which we already have. We are building way more integration there. We are building Superbase integration and also other, let's say, integration are coming soon. So that's something which you're working on.
So I asked it to do some external research, but it looks like it's having some trouble right now, but it's still going to come up with something good.
That's absolutely right. It can be a new bug as well. And we are trying to make sure as reasonable that is. If it's a bug, we're trying to do a sense where it can be a half credit something. We're trying to make that work as well. But yeah,
Okay.
that's right. That's a very good point. Okay, Dom, where are we? Sorry, I just need to. I was like,
No, you're good. We're just
wishing
waiting
to be
for it
answered.
to
Yeah.
make some updates to the homepage here. And
So we have the landing page already, and are we done with the first task, or oh, it doesn't look bad actually.
yeah, we can roll with it.
We're actually struggling with this code writing issue, and we are still, I think, over our Discord we have seen this a lot. One of the main reason where we were struggling a lot because we were hitting the Anthropic's rate limit, and
Yeah.
we found a way. We shipped something, I think yesterday and today, that how to manage that. We are trying to create we're using Vertex under the hood and just trying to make sure that we get the full credits and all. But yeah, that's something which we're struggling a lot. The writing code, it's a common problem over our Discord. It's people are throwing there, and
Yeah.
it's a very valid point. We're trying to work out. We're trying to work out some workaround over that. We're trying our best to fix that.
Yep. So we might just might just leave the page where it is, and I guess we can move on to Firebase.
Yeah, I think we can move on that. Maybe how we can stop it is just ask the plan. Yeah, maybe make a pause, or if not, we can just make a browser refresh. That would also work. A browser
Perfect.
refresh always works to stop that part. Meanwhile, I'll just add in a few more. Question: will you shift to Grok 3 API? All right. It depends
Okay.
how good it is in in generating code. Yeah, if the benchmark is amazing, why not?
That is done.
Also, if the pricing is reasonable for us, for the consumers, perfect. We can just go ahead with that. But yeah, Grok 3 is all over the Twitter space.
We're going to do the Firebase integration. So we'll create a project here. And it looks like the application is going to call this LifeSync Pro. So we can call the database that. Click this link up here.
So we are now in the so you're creating a new project in Firebase. It's called LifeSync. You use the add Firebase button, or the agent gave you?
Oh,
but it's all that's also fine. Or yeah, you can just start a new task.
Yeah, we'll start the task. We'll keep going through tasks.
I know you are used to this. Like that is the next thing the agent will say.
Yeah. No, the new task feature is awesome. I forget to use it sometimes.
But yeah, we are back there.
Perfect. So we have add Firebase, and we've got that here, and we click the Firebase console. We're going to create a new project, and this is going to be called LifeSync.
This is fun, actually. Like how you prompt, I'm pretty sure how others prompt is very different. Like for you, I've got this workflow already there. Next thing will be adding Firebase. So I just quickly click the add Firebase button. But then I hear from users who are not even used to this add Firebase button. And then the agent is that, you have an add Firebase button. That's why we have to add that add Firebase via the agent to make it look like entirely agentic. The agent will say that click the add Firebase, it goes there. So yeah, it's a very to make it smoother and the synchronous way with the agent, because you're working with a dev beside you. I think that's a nice way when it comes over the chat. But it's amazing to see how everyone builds in a different way.
Yep. So we've got our project here, LifeSync Pro. And hold on my browser. There we go. All right. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to copy over this this config from Firebase. And we do that by...
by the way, perfect. The app you need to create, because...
creating the app. And you do that by just clicking right here, this web app, and we'll call it. All right, and we'll register. Okay, and then if you look here, it's just got 9 lines of code.
Although, Dom, one comment came. Please explain what you are doing so we can understand properly, and please stop if possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's...
I think Dom is doing a very good job in going step by step out there. But again, I think, Dom, it will be great if you just go slowly, maybe.
Yeah, no problem.
We can just break it into 4 sessions. All good.
We'll break it into four. So what we're doing right now is we're adding Firebase so that we can have authentication, a database, and storage. Because for a CRM, we've got fields that we've got schema we've got to build, we've got fields that we're going to create. But we also want a really easy, seamless way for people to log in. Most people have Gmail, but if you've got different email services, you can use that too. But this just creates literally a seamless authentication method for your application so that you can monetize it, you can secure it.
Mhm.
So that's what we're doing right now. The first step is that we're going to go ahead and add Firebase, the SDK to data button to our application.
That's right.
And then the first thing we'll do is we'll actually set up that authentication so that that next page that we go to, there will actually be a login, and that everything else that we build in the backend is now protected from everybody else on the internet.
Yeah, and Dom, you can just go ahead. I will also explain it. Meanwhile, what you did. So what Dom did was he created a new project in Firebase, and then he moved. Once he created that project, he enabled something called as web app, because we are building a web app here. And once you have that web app, you have this Firebase config key. You can just have it via going to projects, then settings. Then you scroll down, you will get that entire config key. You'll also find it over our docs, by the way. I will also share the documentation so that it's easier for anyone to follow it. Let's say each and every step out here is documented, so you can always come back this part. And then he just copied that particular config file from there, and once he have that, he just pasted it back in data button so that he can just give it to data button. I think you just scroll it down a bit. The right, I know this scrolling issue.
There it is. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. So we'll do that right there.
And he's just now enabling each and everything. He's enabling the authentication part, which is in the left side part.
Yep. And I think we've got everything we need here, right, Abra?
It looks like we have everything. I think it's just the save button. That's it.
Yep. Perfect.
By the way, we did this entire process in our last live stream as well. So if you really think you need to rewatch this part, you can rewatch. Also, we have a video on this over the same documentation, what to do. Plus, this model, which we see right now, it also guides you through this. So feel free to. This will guide you through to each and every part.
So we've got authentication set up now. And now we need to add our authorized domains.
That's right.
And
thank you so much. I hope so. Yesterday there was this Man City and the Madrid match, and I was like, we should have seen me there. I was constantly speaking of, but thanks. The next part which Dom is doing right now is more about whitelisting which URL to do. Basically, trying to make sure that Firebase side, we know from where the call will come. So it's like databutton.com. That would be from where it comes. So it's the domain part which he just changed. And now he's enabling the database.
Yep. Okay, perfect. And these are the basic rules.
Nice.
And once this loads, that's pretty much the last step that we've got. And then we'll install the Firebase off. It's really simple. Really simple.
This is why we have this very strong integration with Firebase. And it helps a lot. And if you see now that there is no data, hopefully, if we can make it work, all the data will start to come in that collection.
Yep. But with just a few clicks, I mean, now we have a database, which is super cool, and authentication.
Yeah. And I think you just need to hit the install Firebase auth if you have not. Yeah. Nice. And so what happens is, under the hood, we have all this kind of custom prompt, which helps data button to understand how to make sure that the Firebase is now integrated with data button's particular app which Dom is building. And you will see that right now, when this page is, there will be two pages coming up. One will be the login page, and another will be log out page. And that's coming up. It's almost akin to having a template, but it's something which under the hood, the agent is working for you. And it's making sure the login page and logout page is working along with the config file. And now the app is ready, and it's also protected by that's also a very important point which we miss.
Yep. So we're looking at the observation. So the extension's been installed, and we can proceed with auth implementation, create the login and sign up pages. And let's see what we got. So we've got a login and log out.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, Abra, it looks like it's going to try to create pages again, maybe?
That's right. So we already have this login and logout page out there.
Yeah. Yep. But we can test it right now and see if it's working.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
If it works, it should redirect us.
Yeah, I think it's working on the redirect page right now. There's a question meanwhile. Oh, perfect. It's working as well. Let's.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like. But I think it will be also create something. Oh, okay. I wanted to mention that. If you see the utility file, it created the auth store file automatically under the hood. Everything is happening. So, and this is the best part. I think we mentioned this before. Data button handles all of this into segments: the pages, the UI components, the utility files. Everything is getting created and it's organized on the left hand side of the sidebar. I'll just take this question. Just to confirm, we have completed auth and database steps for Firebase, and storage will be done separately. That's absolutely right.
Correct.
So what Dom did right now was the authentication, which he enabled, and also the Firestore database, it's called, on the sidebar. And storage also, we can do that same way, but we'll do it probably in the next session. Or let's see how far we can go with this.
Yeah.
Do it in the next step also.
But it's just as easy.
Yeah, it would be the same, like how he enabled both of them, the
Let's see.
authentication and storage.
Use our custom implementation.
And also the shield out there is something which shows that the particular file, or let's say the UI file, the UI page is protected. It's under authentication.
Yep.
You can always make sure to, you can change it, toggle it. You can also make it without shield as well.
Yep. So now, just to show everybody, straight from the home page, we now have this nice login button. It takes us to this really pretty professional looking sign in. We can sign in straight with Google.
Nice. And does that reflect also in your Firebase? I think it should reflect there.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I think authentication.
So
yeah. There we go.
Yep.
Maybe also test the email and password, the test@gmail.com or something like that.
Test what? Sorry about that, Omar.
Test the in the login there is via email also you enabled.
Oh, sure.
At sign in method. So that also you did. So maybe just test@gmail.com or something like that.
Okay. Like a sign up?
Yeah, you can do a sign up with any.
And let's see.
I think you just need to refresh that part a bit. Yeah,
there
we go.
Boom.
So that's why the provider. That's the provider via email, and there's a Google sign up, and that's mainly because Dom, if you just if you just show the sign in tab, sign in method.
Yeah.
So that's why we added. I think Dom added 2 sign in methods in the beginning. One of them is via Google. One of them is via email and password. But you can also add a lot. If you just go to adds new provider, you can add the GitHub or like Microsoft or Twitter, X, Facebook. You can add anything out there. So this should work with any of the email IDs, email providers, or this providers, sign-in providers, basically. But right now we did only email, or Dom did only email and Google, and that's the most common one. And that's why both of them works now, right away.
Yep.
Perfect. We have authentication up and running.
Yep. So I think we're good on this task. We've completed it.
Yeah, let's do that.
And what do we have next?
Let's see.
So we've set up user profile and settings management system. Yep.
Yeah. Meanwhile, when you start, I will just give a quick recap for people maybe who are joining now. We already have quite a lot of viewers now having. Let's see from where mainly.
Love it.
Nice. So Dom, if you don't mind, can you just go to the plan section? I'm sorry that.
Yes, sir. No, you're good. You're good.
I just want to make sure that all the steps are followed. So Dom, if you scroll down a bit, please, then I can show the plan where we are, we did a button, our developer who is next to us. So we have finished two steps. For people who are joining in, we created a modern landing page with key features and value proposition. Probably, Dom, we can change it maybe in the next streaming, or we
Oh,
can just,
sure.
if you're not happy, we'll change it. And other plan which we did successfully in green is the second step: set up Firebase authentication with email and social login options. So that also we finished. And now Dom is in the next plan. If you scroll up, Dom,
Yep.
I think it's over the plan section.
Yep.
It's the next plan, which is create user profile. So the authentication is already up. Now the user profile and setting management, which data button has chosen as another task that will be finished next. And if you see there, data button also breaks down there where the reasoning thing is happening, breaks down into number of steps or implementation approach. You can add comments, you can add more, dump it with which we do often is dump with more context to it.
Hmm.
Last week we had a live stream with Firedata's CEO Ashprit, and that time what I did was I just added the code block in that particular comment section. So when I hit the start button, it automatically took those, and yeah, there you can add more comments, and this will be given to the agent's memory in a way, and you can work with that. That's also one hack how you can use it. Other
Yep.
way which people do a lot, and I was actually discussing this with Viral today, was I think Viral who actually mentioned me that the power of research which data button has. You can actually pass a URL to data button, ask it, can you please research about this URL? It goes there, comes with a context, and then starts working on it, which is again like the console part which Dom mentioned is very underused. People use that a lot to
Hmm.
research on the latest documentation. That can be anything. So that works really nice. All right. So
That's
we have now a page called profile page.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Okay.
Dom, it will be great if you just click the restore button once, just to show that let's see how many checkpoints we have until now.
Sure.
So I think, let's say, what do you think? How many we
1,
have?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So we have used 8 credits until now to to build this landing page, to build the authentication part, set up
Mhm.
the profile page, everything. It's done within those 8 credits.
Mhm.
So if you really think, if everything you know how to do step by step, how to leverage the best use of data button, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be too expensive in a way, and it's doing a lot of tasks there. Okay,
That's
I
what I
think this
got.
is a very good question, and let's see. What do you think, Dom, about this question? Is it required to go step by step as per to-do list, or we can skip? For example, you can go directly to Stripe payment, not for this time, of course, but generally,
Yeah.
can you skip
I
steps?
mean,
What do you think, Dom?
you can definitely skip steps. I think that auth should always be the first thing. I mean, if you're designing the app to do that, it's just a good idea to build it in up front. I think it just will make it easier than to have to go and unwind it later. But you can definitely go in whatever order you want. I think it's the agent's just going to try to set you up for best success.
That's right. I think that's a very good point, actually. Set you up for the best success. And like, I totally agree here with Tom that you can always keep a step, go for something which you feel might work. Like we could have skipped this profile management step. We could have went for data store directly. But again, I think agent somewhere has its own directionality of how to maintain this. And I think it's a valid way how it's organized. I think it's a very like how the prompt works is like, just give a very valid way of progress while working.
There
And
you go.
yeah, perfect. So we have everything out there, including the profile from scratch today as we did live. I think we took 30 minutes because first few minutes we are discussing the background of this project.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, so you can always skip the steps. And we
There we go.
have the Firestore database also. I think how many prompts we need? We need 10 prompts to do that. So which is equal to 10 credits. So we took 10 credits, 10 to let's say 12 credits, or even make it 15 credits. I don't think it's that much.
Yep. 10 prompts. Yep.
10 prompts, or I think 10 credits, I would say 10 restoration point, or let's say 10
Yep.
points or 10 credits we took
I think we've
to
done
build this
everything.
entire user profile. And also, I think if we take an average of this entire thing, last time when I did the live stream, that also took me 8 to 10 credits. It's always somewhere there. And
Yep.
that we give for free trial when someone starts up in Data Button, 20 credits. So
Yep.
so Dom has now everything starting from
Yeah.
starting
10
from
10 credits.
10 within the, and if the Firestore database is also set up, I think
Yep.
few things would be how about Dom, we just quickly wrap up the things which we did, so that if someone is joining it now,
Yeah.
we can actually go through each of them. Maybe partly you can say what you did, and then I will also add the few key points where I also heard from users who missed those points. Maybe that is also something which is kind of a roadblock. We should also discuss
Yep.
that. Go
So
ahead.
when we went through the new app workflow, it took all of our feedback. It created these initial 8 tasks, and so we've made our way through 3 of these. So the first one was creating the landing page, which we did, and it's right here. It's got all your different CTA buttons and sign in, all that. And then the next thing we did was we set up our Firebase authentication, and we also set up our database. So we have authentication here. We can sign in via any of the methods that we choose here, but for the sake of this, we have just email, password, and Google. And we also simultaneously set up our database. So as users start signing in, you can see that we're already creating collections here. We've already got data, including profile picture. And then the next thing that we did was we created the user profile page. So now when you sign in from the homepage, you're redirected to your profile, which would be your Google photo. You've got your name, and then you've also got a bio that you can save changes on, and then just some general application settings. And we did
Awesome.
that in 10 prompts, 10 credits. Yep.
That's a 10 credits, yeah. And I just want to mention a few things, because I saw that's over Discord also as well, few things which is often asked, and I think it would be really nice if we just go through them. Few thing is, and I think the most important part is, and how seamless this process can be. Of course, it varies from users to users, but it can be very useful if we take few things into account. For instance, when we are working with Firebase, it would be really cool if we just go to Firebase and enable the data store when you first time go there, because a lot of users see that missing or insufficient inputs about a particular, like when you have this profile page which is now showing Dom's entire details of it, that might show error when your Firestore database is not enabled. And if you see Dom enable that in the very beginning, that's a very good practice to do that. And I often feel that's something which people miss. As a result, they come up with insufficient information, because Data Button cannot access the Firestore database, and as a result, you get those errors, and then you just go on, because Data Button thinks everything has been enabled based on the guidance which it gives in the very beginning first prompt. So, like for instance, if the Firebase button is clicked, there it shows there are 3 steps. Like there's 3 steps. Like one, the authentication settings, like it's it Google or it's email or it's Facebook, that needs to be enabled. The next part also, another very important part is to whitelist the domain. I think right now, Dom, it will be great if you could just show this 2 part, the authorized domain part. Here, exactly here. And if you see now, here Dom has added databutton.com. If this app gets deployed, it won't work again, because for that we also need to whitelist the deployed URL which you can get when you click it. So that's also we need to do. And if we don't do that, according to the agent, and which is very hard thing to actually kind of understand or make it way more trivial in a way, because agent thinks that you have followed these 3 steps, but if you have not followed, there is kind of a miscommunication with the agent, and which kind of turns in a like a loop where it goes. So that is also key part. And the other key part is enabling the Firestore database. Those things are super important to make sure that everything works in a very well smooth wise. And instead of using 40 credits, you finish it within 10 credits. And I can just assure you that this is very much
Yeah.
possible, because in the last live stream I did today, Dom is doing himself, and very much to do it within 10 to 15 credits, maximum 20 credits. I don't think even that will reach there, but within 10 credits you can do that. And when it comes to template, I think this is already very easy way to have a synchrony with the agent. Like, it just way more smooth, I would say. But yeah, a few things which is coming in as well. We will have this Superbase integration. I know a lot of people love Superbase. Dom himself loves Superbase.
I,
So
well, I think I like Firebase more now. It's easier.
no, but like the same way, Superbase should also work. We have a
Yeah.
documentation over right now, but it's not so polished. So Superbase should also work in the very same way how
I'll-
how it works with Firebase.
I'm gonna add in. I'm gonna whitelist our deployed domain right now, and
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and just deploy so users can actually go in and
Yeah, but
sign in
I
if they
would.
want.
Yeah, all right. But I would also say that since now it's live and people have access to your all the database, like the storage,
Yeah.
maybe we should keep it down for a while, and
Okay.
every time we create a new project, just copy and paste it. But it's okay. I hope our users are
Okay.
we will do that. But sure, I mean, but it's okay. I think we can just keep it there because there's no function which they can kind of use it.
I
in a
can
bad
just
way.
remove this domain right here.
Yeah, I think we should remove that domain here also, because those are more like the secrets part.
Yeah.
You can just delete it, I think. But we're doing everything live. Okay, we're trying to keep it as transparent as possible. But these things we have to maintain for the for the sake of the project. But I think everyone agrees to that.
Let's see.
Perfect. Yeah, so I think for this live stream, this was fantastic actually. And yeah, and by any chance, if you miss the config file, so it's also under project overview, project settings. If you scroll down underneath,
Yep.
you will find the entire details of this config file, which just now Dom added. That also it works,
And
and we need to make
right.
sure that it's there. Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Down
It's
here.
out there,
Mhm.
out there. That's also a very important step while doing it. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you guys have any question, I think we can still hang out for 5 to 10 minutes. So happy to
Yeah.
answer those. And the next session, Dom, what shall we do in the next session? What do you think?
I think next time what we'll do is we'll work on the UI a little bit more, and we'll go ahead and implement our contact management and build out some of our collections, and we might even try to do the Stripe integration.
Yeah, I think that's we can also maybe we can actually let's do that way. We can add the contact management with the fields and the Stripe. We plan for the next session, and maybe in the third session, if we are successful with the Stripe thing, we can start collecting the payments. And the next session, we can just go for the polishing of this entire UI, make it a bit more, looking good or prettier or some way. And I think then we have each aspects of the app, if you want to call it as like a working MVP. And and then we can polish it further and make it way more cooler maybe. And that's a good plan. And let's keep the plan exactly how Data Button thinks it, in a way to plan it out with this 8 steps to follow. Fantastic. All right then. We had a very successful first session with building our Live Sync Pro. Dom's next I would say next CRM, personal CRM.
Yeah. Yep.
All right then. I think it was great. Thank you everyone. I think we still have a lot of viewers out there, but thank you everyone. You should please join our Discord community. Dom himself is there. I will be there, happy to answer all the questions. If you have any question about a roadmap or something, ask us. If you think something needs to be prioritized, please do that, because we would love to prioritize things which matters for people, or matters for the users, matters for Data Button users to get it done. And please, if you guys are really like this sessions, it would be amazing if you guys share it over Twitter, LinkedIn, because it helps us a lot. Because Data Button is an amazing tool, and personally, not because I am with Data Button team, but it's also for anyone, for me or for Dom or for you guys who are building. I personally think it's a fantastic AI agentic tool to build full stack app. So the more you share, the more people will be getting the value of using data button, the more fast we can build data button to make it really, really bug free. And and that's where we all grow together. So please join the community. And that's all for today's session. We'll just meet in the next one. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.